What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So we are going to try our best to get back on a video every week. It's been very busy around here. We've been working on a lot of customer cars that we didn't really want to put on YouTube, and one of them actually we were asked not to film any of it. And then a lot of stuff just going on. I actually sold my house. We're closing at the end of the month. And those of you that have had a project house like mine was know that you don't ever do your projects until it comes time to get rid of the house. So had a bunch of stuff to do there, a bunch of stuff to do in the garage, but most of that is behind us now, and we're ready to move forward and start doing some videos again. So behind me, we have Ed's 1969 L88 Cologne. You guys have seen this car on multiple videos of ours. I don't remember if we were doing YouTube yet when I drove it, but I actually won a race in it. We were doing YouTube when Ryan drove it, and Ryan won the race in it. And then just last fall, my mom was driving it, and she actually ended up winning the race. So this thing is super basic, super simple, and it's actually been a super awesome car to us. Ed races this thing in the Factory Stock Division, which is pretty much you have fast, and then you have factory stock. This class has a lot more rules. It can only be like board 60 over. You can go up like 1.5 points of compression from factory. You gotta have the correct heads, intake manifold, exhaust manifold, you know, everything like fast. But this thing's, you know, can't do any porting, can't do anything like that internally. Pretty much you can just bump the compression up a little bit, put a little bit of cubic inch in it, pretty much it. So this car is, I was actually talking about this with Ed today, this car is third on the fast list, I believe. This car has went 1061, 129. That was actually last fall. So Ed has pretty much done everything he wanted with this combination. So it is now time to put a roll bar in this car, put a fast motor in it, and get out there and try to go as fast as we can. Ed's goal is to have the cheapest and fastest car in the series, and I think he's actually got a very good head start to it. Just got some inch and 5/8 tubing from Lane Automotive. I'm gonna be using this JMR bender that we've got that has helped me out a lot this winter. This Corvette will actually be the third cage that I've put in this winter, and I've got 2 more to do after this. I've already done a C3 Corvette roll bar, so I've got all my little measurements and cheat sheet going on here. This probably looks like a bunch of scribbling. Actually, some of it is scribbling, but I think I understand what I wrote down and should be able to knock this out fairly quickly. These cars are a little bit different because 2 reasons. They're full frame and they're fiberglass. Gonna come up over here and then back, and you got to be careful because you still got to be able to get to these things to latch the T-tops. The back window on these come out when we're done. It's not going to come out anymore, but it'll have a main hoop, a bar that goes across for the seat belts. It'll have this bar that comes down here into the dash, ties into the floor, and then a bar going like this, which we'll probably put swing outs in it, at least swing out on the driver's side. I don't know about on the passenger side. But we've actually got to do some cuts to the fiberglass right here so that we can go weld to the frame, because that's NHRA rule, is it's got to be attached to the frame. So that's enough talking. We are going to start marking out the bars, start bending up the main hoop, and I'll start getting the interior out of this thing. Interior is completely out of this thing, so we can start cutting up the glass. We're going to make a slice right here all the way back to about right here so that we can put the down bars in. It's easier to put this piece back in, being all one big piece rather than having to fiberglass patch multiple small pieces in. And that gives me enough room to get the welder in there and go to town, start welding the cage to the frame. All right, when I told you I was gonna cut some big holes, I wasn't lying. So we went from here all the way back. The rear down bar will probably end right about here. But like I said, it's so much easier to make the hole larger than you need it, and then fiberglass it all back up, than trying to do it in multiple sections. This side's a little sketchy because that's the fuel line, and this car currently still runs and drives, so had to be careful there. That side we were good to go, just had some wires that we had to watch out for. But now we're going to start bending some bars. My favorite thing to do until I screw something up, then I hate doing it. This bar right here is, I've already done this math, we gotta have 87 inches long. This thing's actually 89, so we're not gonna cut anything off of there. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll show you guys how I actually do this. I'm not a teacher, so I'm not very good at explaining stuff, but pretty much I sat in the car with this little cheater bar I got right here. I made this thing. This is a 90-degree bend. I've got all my degrees marked there. And on another side, it's in light blue, or not light blue, but it's in blue. It's very lightly, you can't see it, it's rubbed off. But that is inches, so I know how many inches it takes to make how many degrees. And then I sit in the car for hours with that and tape and kind of figure out what to do. So yeah, I'm gonna try to take my time and at least get the main hoop in, and then possibly the down bars behind it. I don't know how far I'm gonna get tonight, but we get to bend in some bars. Alright, so here is our main hoop. We knocked this thing out fairly quickly. I did learn it takes so much more time to bend bars up when you're trying to set the camera up and get different angles, but there she is. Gave it a little 5-degree bend right there in the middle to try to bring the ends in a little closer. I might have to take them in a little bit closer. I need to be like 43 and a half. And I'm actually gonna have to cut these somewhere around there, but I'm like 43 and a half from edge of frame rail to the edge of the frame rail. And that at the bottom was exactly 43 and a half. But as you can see, as I cut higher, I'm gonna cut it up here, it actually gets a little wider. So I'm gonna have to cut it, make it fit. If I have to, I'll give it a little bit more of a bend up there, but she turned out pretty good. I'm gonna start trimming that thing up. I'm not gonna film that because that takes forever to do. And then we'll throw it in here and see how good it fits. All right, so here's what we got so far. The bar is in, and I gotta cut it just a little bit more. We're touching right here, and I've gotta be able to slide these pieces in and out. We're touching right there, not touching there, but on the same side over here, right here, and right on the corner. So I gotta do a little bit more trimming down at the bottom right there. Probably take, probably not even a ½ inch off, probably maybe a ¼ inch. I don't know. I'm gonna do the rest with a grinder, but it fits real tight. I'm gonna try to move it back a little more, angle it forward. I really gotta put a seat in and then see This has to be like not close to the driver's head, so I'm gonna put a seat in it and see, position that the right way, and then we'll tack it in and start working on the rear down bars. So I went ahead and made the 2 down bars, not on camera, just whipped them out, and they look pretty good. Like I said, they're gonna go down to the frame right there. I could have went straight, but for some reason the last one I put a bend in it and I liked it, so I put a bend in this one. The side's looking pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually weld a little bit on each bar. I've got them tack welded to the frame. Probably put a couple more tack welds on the frame and then weld as much of this as I can, and then I'll take it out and I'll actually weld it to that bench right there. Well, not weld it, tack weld it to the bench right there, and then finish welding that around, and then I can slide that back in, weld that back to the frame, and then go ahead and start making the 2 bars that go from here down to the floor. So I'm gonna go ahead, weld that up, get it out, and once I get on the table, I'll show you what we got going on. Alright, so we got this old girl fully welded up. I had to weld it to the bench so that it won't spread apart, because actually when you're welding this, it'll move whichever bar, it moves them all over the place. So I welded it to the bench, completely welded this up, and then now we will go ahead and paint this and then put it in the car, because once that's actually in the car, you can't get the spray gun to the back because the window won't come out anymore. So we'll spray it out of the car. We'll leave like this section here unpainted and down here unpainted. That way we can weld the other bars to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that thing sprayed, and then we'll set this thing back in, tack it to the floor, and then we can start building all the other bars for it. Alright guys, it's been a couple days. I had some stuff to do at my house and didn't get out here the last couple nights. This is from the other Corvette I did, and I'm gonna use the same angles on that. And as you can see, it's not just a straight bend. I'm so bad at taking notes. I'm going off my notes and measuring this. This bar is different than that, so I think I made adjustments to the, when I wrote them down. I think that's why I got a big old X on that one. So I need to get better at taking notes, but I think I got an idea on what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start on the passenger side. I should always start on the driver's side, I don't know. I'm always good at doing the first bend, and then the second bend I always struggle with. I can knock the first one out of the park. To duplicate the first one, I don't know, for some reason I always struggle with that. But I'm gonna set you back down right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and bend this bar up. I'll show you what I got when I'm done, and then go ahead and put it in. All right, here she is, mocked up. I still gotta notch this part right here. It's actually gonna bring it back from the dash a little bit, and then it'll bring it off the dash. We're hitting the dash right on this vent, so that'll bring it back just enough. And then I've got to, I marked it. After I notch it, it's gonna bring it back a little bit, obviously, but give me an idea on where to cut. I got to cut this out right here. Probably cut it against the floor, and then I've got to put a bracket there to weld the bar to. But this thing looks pretty good. Fit nice and tight. Up there you can get to your latches, both of them. From the outside, you know, depending on what angle you look at it. You look at it right here, you really can't tell. You look at it from this angle, you can kind of see it, but it's not a huge gap. I mean, the only other way to do it and not have a gap would be to put it like right here. They'd have to go through the dash. And don't really want to have to take the dash out. Would be nice to tuck it a little nicer, but I mean, I don't know, you almost can't get any tighter than what it is right now. So I'm gonna actually go grab me some lunch because I'm kind of hungry. And then I'll come back, I'll notch that. That'll move it back. I'll start cutting a hole in the floor, and then we'll start tacking this thing together. It's not tacked in yet because I'm gonna paint it first, but she fits super tight. It actually barely touches the dash right there. Barely touches the dash down there. So you almost can't get any better than that. And then here's what I was saying, having to cut that hole and then weld the bracket to the frame. So I've got to take it out, completely weld that bracket to the frame, and then I'm gonna spray like this part of the bar because you can't get to it with a spray gun. And then weld the thing back in there, move on to the other side. All right, we almost have this thing finished up. I haven't fully welded it yet, but this will give you an idea what it's gonna look like. So from the outside of the car, really can't see it. And you can see a few bars, but nothing crazy. You can kind of see them in the background because of the yellow floors and stuff. But once we get all the interior panels in, not gonna see it at all. But she turned out super nice. Door bars are in. Now these are going to be swing outs, but I don't have the swing out pieces yet. I ordered from Jegs and they haven't shown up yet. I decided to get a different style than the last style I used. I think I already explained that. But it's fit nicely to the body. T-tops actually work. Once we get these panels in, it's going to fill up a lot of this gap. But until I fully weld it, I'm not going to put those back in yet. This bar right here, I spent a lot of time on, more time than I care to admit, but to me, it was hard to do. I don't know. Like I said, I'm self-taught, really just do things and then figure it out, whether I did it the right way or the wrong way, and learn that way. So to get the bend to match this bar and bend back far enough so that it wouldn't hit the seat was very difficult. You can see that it's bent so that the seat will sit back in there. And I struggled with that, not gonna lie. I probably got who knows how much time in it. I made a dummy bar up. It's over there. I won't show it to you. I don't feel like going over there and getting it. But I made a dummy bar up, and then I tried to copy that bar, and I totally butchered it up. So I had to go back up to Motor State to buy more tubing because I messed it up. I actually had planned on using, I guess I am going to show you because I'm going to show you what I was going to use. This is 1¼ inch, and we're allowed to use this for that middle bar. And I had this notched, fit nice, had it tack welded in, and the seat wouldn't go all the way back. That's not it. That's not it. This is the dummy one that I made up. You can see I welded a few pieces together. That one fit perfect. I threw this one in the tubing bender, and as you can see, I butchered it somehow. See right there how nice it fits to the seat. On this side, we're gonna put a swing out on this side also, just in case somebody wants to get in and right up to the staging lanes or something, or if you got to work on it, it's nice to just be able to swing that bar out or remove the bar. And same on this side, the T-tops open up without hitting anything. You get the T-top off, and this thing actually turned out pretty nice. So now what I've got to do is I'll probably remove the door bars, fully weld everything up with the TIG welder. So I'm probably just going to wrap up this video right here. I'm not going to show you guys the full finished product just yet. It'll be at the racetrack. I'll show you once the season starts, but I'm not going to string this video out any longer. I've been going on it for about a week now, and I need to just get something posted because it's been almost a month since we've had a video for you guys. And like I said, I apologize. We're going to try to get a lot better at it, but a lot of stuff's been going on. We've been working on multiple stuff in the garage. I got 2 cars in back that we've been working on. Got a car on the dyno right now that's been on there for a week that I got to get back to and get that thing finished up for the customer. But I've got to bring in a Mustang, do a 25.5 cage, and then we can finally start on the 67 Corvette. I think we're going to, whenever I talk, the heater wants to turn on. I think my dad's gonna end up bringing in the frame, doing the framework on it, possibly setting the body back on, putting the rear end and stuff in it, and then I'll go ahead and do the cage in between working on the Mustang. And once we get the cage in, it won't be long. I mean, the car's not far away. I feel like if we actually had a month of no distractions and just work on that, we could get it. But problem is, we are, beginning of May is the first fast race here in Martin, Michigan. April 28th and 29th fast will be at Cecil County, which is what we've got to have a couple other cars done for, but not the 67. So I don't know when that thing's gonna make it out. Actually, there is speculation that I'm not even building that car and putting a motor in the Camaro and bringing it back out, but that is not happening. Just haven't had time to mess with it yet. Don't forget to head over to hpdepot.com, pick yourself up some t-shirts. We've got the t-shirt with the Camaro and Corvette on the back of it. Got a decent amount of those left. So if you haven't got one yet, go ahead and get one. I'm gonna start taking them to the racetrack once the season starts, and I'm sure they won't last long. So once we run out, we'll probably end up doing a new design, and we won't have that design anymore. So if you haven't got one yet, make sure you go ahead and pick one of those up. But that's gonna wrap this video up. So like I said, apologize for not having a bunch of videos for you guys. I promise I'm gonna make up for it once this garage work starts slowing down. We start picking up with the racing, and we could get out and start driving stuff and doing more action-filled videos rather than this kind of, to me, it's kind of boring to watch us work on cars. I don't know, you guys might like it. You have to let me know in the comments. If you guys like it, we'll try to keep doing it. Like I said, a couple cars we didn't really want to film. Stuff we got in here now isn't really that big of a secret. But once we get started on the 67, I'll make sure to get some videos of that thing and let you guys know updates on that. But that's gonna wrap this video up. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.